Now we're going to switch lanes to something that you can engage in without restrictions, and we're being joined by Bolaji Onibudo. He is the CEO of LipSoft. Thanks for joining us on the program today.
Thank you very much.
All right, so, we're looking at digital currencies, or cryptocurrencies as it's been called. A lot has been flying around, cryptocurrency. Bitcoin, I think, is the most word being bandied around. What can you tell us about it? What does it actually, how do we use this currency?
Bitcoin and cryptocurrency, also known as digital assets, are ways of representing credit or IOUs on what you call a distributed ledger system. That distributed ledger runs on the internet primarily. So there are millions of copies of this ledger, and all the ledger copies are in sync with one another. So basically, if I wanted to pay you, I will initiate a transaction from my Bitcoin wallet, which will now be confirmed on all the copies of the ledger before a transfer is actually made to your wallet. So it's a secure way of payment, of transferring value. It's what a lot of scientists regard as the Internet 2.0 or Internet of value.
What kind of security is there? Because, fraud is one aspect of the Internet that people actually are looking at, with their eyes really open. What kind of security system is around this cryptocurrency that will make fraud difficult?
There's something we call the public key cryptography, which is an encryption technology that requires you to have a private key. And basically, with a public key, you can create a public address where people can send value to you or pay you like a Bitcoin. That level of cryptography is one of the highest grade. It's almost military grade technology, and it's very, very hard to penetrate. And even if a group of hackers or anything manage to penetrate one system, it is very unlikely that they'll be able to do so simultaneously, hack millions of copies of that same ledger that's on the internet. So it's actually
so it has to be cracked across board. Across board,
millions of copies simultaneously. For you to, the kind of computing power that you will need, it's actually huge amounts of investment. It will almost be pointless. You'll be spending billions of dollars to try to crack this network. So it will be counterintuitive, really.
So how legal is it? I know it's because the internet, it has no borders. Has it been institutionalized or localized in some countries?
Yes. There is some regulations. In the U.S., you require a money transfer license, money transfer business license to run a Bitcoin exchange. In China, you do require a similar license. In Nigeria, what the central bank has communicated through a circular to the banks is to ensure that Bitcoin exchanges are adhering to anti-money laundering measures, and they have KYC, they know their customers. So those are the sort of the basic things that the authorities can do just to make sure that we're not abating criminals or terrorists, and we're not encouraging money laundering. So those are quite key. But really, when you're talking about the internet, it's a global village. So if you're trying to regulate things like this, there are limits, because it's almost like the post office trying to regulate email. So that could be a challenge, but it's also an opportunity, because we become part of this global market, and then we have access to more investments, more opportunities, more businesses, and the economy sort of grows even faster.
Well, let's wait and see how that plays out, and let's wait and see how Nigerians will be, except I should have asked, how are Nigerians playing in this market?
Nigerians are active. I know quite, hundreds of people that participate and trade Bitcoins and use it for transactions on the internet. I also know that some of them are also carrying along the law enforcement agencies to be aware, so that there will be mechanisms for tracking issues to do with fraud. Like everything else, there will always be fraud. There was fraud with matchsticks when they were created, people were selling fake matchsticks. There was fraud with alcohol. People were selling bad alcohol.
Still doing that.
And still now we still have fraud in pharmaceutical industry. People bringing in fake drugs and trying to defraud people. So obviously it's awareness and making sure that both the consumers are aware and they take measures to make sure they're not defrauded, and the authorities are able to investigate and arrest those who are culprits of this type of frauds. So it's a growing space in Nigeria as well, and it is not MMM or any of the Ponzi schemes. So some of the Ponzi schemes like to use the name Bitcoin or to try to attract people or get people, but it is not that at all.
Well, let's wait and see how it will grow over the years, and hopefully it will take Nigerians to that economical El Dorado that they have been wanting to see. But then Bolaji Onibudo, CEO Lipsoft, parent company of Zenbit.
Yes.
Exactly. Thanks for joining us on the program.
Thank you very much, Victor. Yeah.
Well, that's where we are. We'll take a quick break, and we'll be back with the most viewed videos on our YouTube channel in the past week. Stay with us. This week's most viewed videos begins with the video of Mr. Stephen Onwamadike maintaining he has had no contact with his billionaire kidnapper son, Chukwudumeje Onwamadike, popularly known as Evans, after the latter dropped out of school.
So after that 2012, I didn't see him anymore. No contact, no telephone number, nothing. If he wants to call me sometime, he will hide the number and call me. Say, I call him. If you want to call me and hide your number, don't ever call me on phone again.
When I say Biafra order, then I'll keep pushing. Either I am alive, I die in the process. I won't stop. Allow me to
Up next is the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, Nnamdi Kanu, speaking about the agitation for Biafra.
By the powers that be, where every ethnic nation, I said every, I don't care if there are 600, I don't care. Everyone is
all the 500 plus.
Everyone together to say this is, or others can delegate, I don't know, powers to other people to attend on their behalf. Sit down to say, what type of country do we want? Sit down, discuss, agree.
If the government had gone the way of Sharif, I will have burned the PDP flag and the card.
In third place is Governor Ayodele Fayose of Ekiti State, saying he would have ripped his PDP membership card apart if the Supreme Court judgment on the chairmanship of the party didn't go the way it did.
To burn it off, because you can't live in the same house with a snake.
I really didn't know whether to laugh or to cry.
The video of former Aviation Minister Femi Fani-Kayode reacting to the judgment of the Supreme Court over the leadership crisis rocking the PDP takes the second spot. While in first is the Supreme Court judgment affirming the chairmanship of Senator Ahmed Makarfi as the authentic leader of the party. Well, there you go. Those were the most viewed videos on our YouTube channel in the past week. And that is the program this week. Thank you for joining us. But do remember that the conversation doesn't end here. It continues via the social media addresses showing on your screen. Thank you for watching. I'm Victor Matthias.